Now we're going to get into the weld. I'm going to show you some really beautiful stuff. This just tickled the heck out of me. Alright, now up here, what I'm going to zoom in on for you, you can see where I had asked them to dig a little trench in the head. And once again, I'm going to keep saying it because it's just how it is. They were by far the most cooperative people in doing my requests so I could evaluate their head. ProComp and KMJ, I challenge you to even come close to providing me with something. If you're wanting a chance to prove or to show what you got, all I am is a phone call away. You can give me a ring and I'd be glad to saw one of your heads up. Matter of fact, I'd take personal pleasure in it. I'd love to saw one of your heads up and do some welding on it and then cut it and see what we got. But this right here, I mean, this is just mind-boggling. Take a look at this, guys. This was done with I believe, a TIG. And the weld went all the way to here. Okay, now usually you get some coloration, which, you know, that's not bad. It just depends on what color it is, has a lot to do with it. But I have never seen anything quite like this, never on a China head, where you cannot tell where the weld stops and the regular part of the aluminum in the cylinder head is. That right there tells you the quality of the 356 T6 aluminum that this head is being produced with. Believe me when I tell you, I've tried welding on the ProComps and they spatter, there's bubbles, there's bad coloration on them. It's just a poor quality aluminum, ProComp. I hate to say that, but it is what it is. I mean, right here you can see where the cutter stopped. It's a ledge about, I'd say probably 10 or 12 thousandths that they were cutting, probably closer to 10. And they cut the weld and you cannot even hardly tell. I'm going to try to get you a better angle on it because this right here just shows you the quality of the aluminum that ProMaxx is using with their head. I'm trying to be fair because, you know, light can sometimes hide things. So now I've got you at another angle. Check this out. I mean, you just cannot tell hardly at all. Once again, you can see the cutter slice here and then it comes over here. But you can tell, I mean, man, that is beautiful. Zero porosity whatsoever. And no real coloration difference. Hell, the ProMaxx and Dart heads, I've been welding and sawing on them for years. And you could always tell colorations. Now, granted, the ProMaxx and the Dart had the exact quality as this as far as density, not having bubbles and not welds or anything. But remember, the object of this is to show how either A, this is right beside a ProMaxx's or Dart's quality, or B, exceeds it. And right there's your proof in the pudding. You want to know how good a head is? Weld some on it, saw the weld. Now let's go to another area. We've seen what it looks like when we deck the weld after we cut it. Now let's focus on something that's going to really blow your mind. Hey, I purposely had this cut on each side of the weld. See the lines? Here and here where the weld was coming across, it chopped in the center. This is the bead that was laid across the cylinder head. Now as we turn it around, I mean, if this just don't get you, I don't think nothing will. Alright, you can see the bump. My camera just about won't focus that much. I don't want to get fuzzy on you. Alright. I'll try to move it a little bit. Here's the bump on the weld on the deck. I mean, no porosity, a perfect adhesion to the existing aluminum on the cylinder head. No coloration, no porosity, no bubbles. Now, I'm going to try to move it around. It's hard for me to look at the camera and see that at the same time. Okay, we'll try it like that. No, I just can't get no more zoom in on it better than that. Okay. maybe this will show an angle. I mean, you just cannot tell. And once again, I point out, I love not having that awful water jacket hole right here that can wreak havoc on your porting. But on the weld, I mean, you can just see. Let me try to get you a little bit better angle. I don't know, that angle's pretty good, man. That pretty much tells the story. It's just a great head to weld or repair, and by it being that kind of thicknesses, what this basically means at the bottom line, you can port this head more. You can port it more and go farther in the cylinder head and remove more material when the 356 T6 is of the higher grade quality. ProMaxx, I can't hit that head as hard. I just can't, because it will lose its structural integrity. And I know we've all heard the horror stories about ProMaxx and the big block and small blocks releasing the seats falling out of the head, boom, tearing your motor in 1,000 damn pieces. A big part of the reason that they do this ain't just the crush that it's forced with, it's the material, it's the lower quality 355 and unknown heat treat that some of the China heads have. Even if you put it in there, which I've done it, I've manually myself have put seats in them heads, and I've used 6/1000 crush with aluminum and still had some of them come out. Couldn't figure out why until I got a material analysis report some years back on what quality the aluminum was. If it ain't the high heat treated, it don't matter how much crush that you put in the cylinder head, it's going to let go of the seats. It's just about the quality of the aluminum. This head, if you could have seen, here's a shot of this. I'm going to try to zoom in on it for you. But if you could have seen when I tried to dig this out of here, it would not cut. See, I had to cut a whole section. Let's see if I can get a little bit line on that there. That's one of the things I wanted to show you. Okay. If you look right here, most of the time you can take a die grinder and a little ball and just barely break it, and then you can come up underneath it with a hook and start to pull it out. I had to cut this about 125 to 150 wide, and I mean, I beat on it with a hook and a hammer and finally got it to come out. This thing had grabbed hold of that seat inside the head very, very well. So once again, due to the quality of the aluminum being the higher grade, which is the same type material that Dart and Brodex uses, seat problem on these heads should be nothing. There never should be drop seats or any horse shit like that involved in this. So we got something good going on there. We got good seats in the head. By the way, the seat quality is very well. You can always tell the Stellite seats by how hard it is to grind them out. So they pretty much got that one, and they got the aluminum material where it will hold the seat, not let it fall out. We got a great valve guide inside this head that you're not going to have to go out here and replace, okay? As soon as you buy the heads, if you want longevity out of it, they give you some good parts to work with. Alright, now for the next part, we're going to take a look at chamber shape and overhang of the valves and all that stuff.